Hi, I'm Lucas Mack, and I'm on a mission to see the hurting get healed and the healed go out and heal others, in order for all of us to experience the true love and light we desire. This podcast is me sharing my journey with you, so you don't feel alone in your journey. Welcome to the Golden Rule Revolution. Hello, brothers and sisters, and welcome back to another episode of the Golden Rule Revolution. I am Lucas Mack, and it is such a pleasure having you join. So today is day 3 of the 10-day challenge that Crystal, the energetic alchemist, gave me to hit record, and just flow. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to say. One of my greatest fears and I mean real fear. And I would have these dreams and they'd wake me up in the middle of the night. Was that when it came time, well, let me tell you this specific dream. I had a dream that recurred up until 36 years old. So I'm 39 now, up until about 3 years ago. That I was in the room with the Antichrist. Okay, so this is a dream, but it recurred over and over for years. I was in the room with the Antichrist. I knew who he was. He knew who I was. And when it came time to speak out against him, to wake everyone up, I opened my mouth and nothing would come out. Nothing. And I couldn't speak. And my greatest fear was being unable to speak when it came time to speak, when it mattered most. And that wasn't I had deeper fears than that, but that was a significant dream that replayed in my life. When it came time to speak and I went to speak, nothing would come out of my mouth. And you know, you might not have had that dream, but I'm sure you can relate to being afraid to speak, being afraid to utter words out of your mouth. I mean, even right now, as I'm talking to you and looking into the camera and looking at you, I'm not yet sure what's going to be said 5 seconds from now, let alone 5 minutes from now. But I think every single one of us has a fear to some degree that limits us to being the fullness of us. And for me, and for many, it is speaking. I mean, don't they say that the greatest fear people have is public speaking, greater than death? And why is that? And if you think about speaking, when we speak, we are co-creating with God. God spoke and it was, let there be light. And there was light. God spoke the vibrational sounds, energy, frequency, and vibration. The energetic sounds from God that originate from him created all that is. And then he created us, placed us in this earth school, this 3D existence in this most magnificent planet that hosts life. And said, you speak and you co-create. Isn't that interesting that our words matter? Our words create matter. Solomon wrote, life and death is in the power of the tongue, and those that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Meaning, what you speak either produces life, brings more life, or creates death. What you speak to yourself, the words you say about yourself, bring life to yourself or death to yourself. When's the last time you just in your mind said, man, I am so lovely. I'm so beautiful. I'm so wonderful. I'm all the things that I have desired of others to tell me. I will tell me. It gives me chills right now just saying that. Speaking, uttering, articulating with the very essence of your being to utter forth your words. Because your voice matters, because it creates matter. And I've since gotten over that fear. But when I first started this podcast, I read a script. It was not on camera. I was reading a script. I was so afraid to speak. I knew. See, I told someone this yesterday. I saw the revolution that was coming many years ago, the violence that was coming. That's why I call this podcast the Golden Rule Revolution. I knew the golden age was coming. I also saw the revolution brewing. And I said at the very early on of these podcasts, if you want to be a revolutionary, so be it, but be a revolutionary of love. And it is the most revolutionary act in a world of insanity, a world of death, a world of decay, a world of destruction, a world of fear, a world of limiting beliefs, a world of Borg mentality, and everyone assimilating into this nothingness void, to love the crap out of people by first loving the crap out of yourself. There is no accident that the masking of society is the physical manifestation of people unwilling to use their voices. Because words matter, and we have abdicated our ability, our responsibility to respond to that which does not bring life. So we must speak and create. I talk about it a lot, but when I went to that emotional intelligence training in San Diego, Ascension Leadership Academy, back in 2018, there was a guided meditation that I had never done one before. Well, I did a guided meditation at Tony Robbins event. But this was more intimate and much more powerful. And they lead us through this exercise. And at the end, an angel brings a box, a gift, to each and every one of the people in this guided meditation. And my angel was my wife. And Lauren came to me and she brought me this box. And everyone else in the room, I think, because everyone shared in the room what was in the box. My box was unique in that on the outside of the box, there was a word. So apparently there was supposed to be a word inside the box for every single person. My box had a word on the outside of the box. And the outside of the box, it said power. When I opened the box, there was fire inside. And it's 12:12. Yesterday I saw 4:44. It's 12:12 right now. And what I saw was, my fire is my power. My fire comes from my voice to speak. And we are taught in religion that God's fire is condemning. Hellfire, lake of fire, destruction fire, fire and brimstone. But fire is actually purifying. And it purifies gold. It purifies silver. It purifies and removes the impurities so that we can get back to pure beingness inside of us, from crown to root, aligned in love and light, because we are made of light. And so that radically changed my perception and my view of speaking, that when I speak, I'm always speaking from a place of love. And love does not mean agreement. We don't have to agree. If I mark down every single one, if it was possible to map every single belief structure that you had to this is blue, and I might call it navy blue or whatever. I mean, you get my point. If I was able to map out every single particular belief structure that you have and that I have, there's not a person on planet Earth out of 8 billion people that have identical beliefs. Just like our fingerprint is unique to us, our retina is unique to us, and our belief structures are unique to us. So aligning on beliefs and saying, well, we believe the same thing, that's irrelevant. It's that, do we love one another? Do I love you? And then the question could be, well, what is most loving? And I talked about this on an episode 2 days ago. The most loving thing might be to yank you out of the river, the current that I see down the road is going to go to a waterfall, and you think you're having the time of your life. That's possibly the most loving thing I could do. So what is loving versus intention of loving each other, loving oneself? So it all gets back to your voice and uttering forth the message that I believe every single person on planet Earth has a unique message to give, share, experience, and create with other beautiful beings, all from the voice within, all from what does your soul yearn to say? What does your soul yearn to say? What are you here on this earth to speak? It may be one word, but it might be the most profound word anyone's ever heard. The way you say it. When I lead men's retreats, and this is very important for you to listen to as well, when we talk, when we speak, there are 4 things that I have coming from the newsroom, being a reporter, being a musician, having a band in college, and public speaking, and all these things. I've come up with this 4 categoried ability to create energy from what we speak. And there's 4 categories: pitch, volume, tone, cadence. PVC, pitch, volume, tone, PVT, pitch, volume, tone. Yeah. PVTC. The pitch at which you speak. The volume at which you speak. Do you speak like this? Like, I have something to say. I have something to say. PVT, tone. If you say no, or no, or yes. PVT, and C, cadence. You could say, hey everyone, how you doing? Or hey everyone, how you doing? Or hey everyone, how you doing? PVTC, pitch, volume, tone, cadence. When you speak, I want you to think about how you speak. Because if you are the person that isn't necessarily a talker, you've told yourself that. You've believed a limiting belief structure. But regardless, you might be the person that when speaking one word in your PVTC could be the most profound word that anyone ever hears. Or you could be just a fast talker. And I love, there's so many fast talkers. They're like, they're just like, boom, boom. Well, their PVTC might be the most profound thing that others hear. My point is, when we speak, when we come together and use our voices to speak forth life and abundance and goodness and truth and liberation and freedom and sovereignty and consciousness and love and light for all beings, when we co-create together using our voices, nothing can stop us. Nothing can stop you. And I remember specifically when that dream went away, when I couldn't speak and I had to speak, I was like, and nothing came out. And later on, after that emotional intelligence seminar, I had a dream that fire just came out of my mouth and that fire just purified people. And And this is not to be self-grandizing. This is just my own internal journey of me stepping into my own sovereignty and my gifts and why I'm here on this earth. And maybe a blessing for you to understand that you have your own gifts of why you're here on this earth. And I do 100% believe that every single person blesses others with their gifts, with their voice. So what do you have to say? What are you here to say? What is your soul yearning to utter forth unto us all? For we are here, waiting, listening, willing. Because there's no judgment. The people that judge you, if you're around people that are judging you, crank your frequency up even higher. Just internally dial that up. Shine so brightly that the darkness flees immediately. If you are surrounded by judgment, you have the great opportunity to crank that dial. I always feel like there's a dial, and I've talked about this on the podcast before. And at the men's retreats, I picture a dial inside you and crank it up. Maybe it's at 2 right now. Maybe it's not even turned on. Turn it on. Crank it to 2, 3, 4, 5. Crank it to 8. Put that thing to 10. Nothing can hold back your power, your frequency, your intention of love and light when you are intentional with that love and light. And Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who was the last person that Adolf Hitler ordered to be executed in the concentration camps in Germany, who was the head theologian in Germany prior to World War II. In fact, the American theologians invited him to the United States and offered him citizenship to live in the U.S., and he did not want to betray his German people, so he went back and was part of the Valkyrie assassination attempt on Adolf Hitler, which led him to going to the concentration camp prison. But he wrote in the prison camp, he was a Lutheran theologian. He wrote in prison camp, not to speak is to speak. Not to act is to act. And that has stuck with me profoundly since I've read that. Not to speak is to speak. Not to act is to act. And Brad Ballard, my brother, who I've had on this podcast and owns Ascension Leadership Academy, said, what you permit, you promote. What you permit, you promote. So if you're permitting yourself not to speak, you're promoting no power in your life, no life. Death is stagnant. Stagnant water breeds decay, disease, bacteria, but flowing water refreshes the soul, refreshes the body. Speaking is life. So my encouragement to you, my dear brother and sister, is to speak. Speak your truth. Speak your story. Speak your journey. Speak your message. And think no more of other people in your mind. If they're in your mind, if they're holding space in your mind, you have more room to fill your mind with you and not them. It took me a very long time to get my dad out of my head, to get people that were friends that didn't align with me and their opinions out of my head. I was a consummate people pleaser because I figured if I pleased them, they wouldn't hurt me because I was constantly hurt growing up. It conditioned me to be a people pleaser who always transgressed my own sovereignty. And I'll share the story as I'm wrapping up. When I was in 2016, and I finally hit a breaking point with all the trauma, and we started getting stalked. I had an employee get paid to log into my iMessage to message my mom to come out of hiding. We got harassed, stalked. It was the craziest thing. Someday I share the story. It's the craziest story. But I remember walking from my house to the grocery store, which is about 3.5 miles away. And I'm walking, and I had a vision of myself. And that the vision was I was a golden retriever that always laid on my back and exposed my belly to other dogs. And the other dogs would always bite me. And then I would dig deeper into the ground. Like, I'm not a threat to you. I would never hurt you. Like, why are you hurting me? I would never hurt you. I don't want to hurt people. I'm here to help and heal people, heal this world, be a permission for all to heal. But this vision, I saw that I was golden retriever and my belly was exposed. And I just kept getting bit over and over and over in my life. I would draw the abusive men in my life, constantly in this cycle of getting taken advantage of, all this stuff. It was crazy. And when I went to therapy, the therapist said, dogs show healthy aggression. They bare their teeth to give warning. They don't want to hurt someone immediately. They don't just run an attack. They bare their teeth, give warning, which is healthy aggression. And that rocked my world because I'd only seen unhealthy aggression. So healthy aggression and baring teeth. Okay. But in December of last year, in 2019, I had this dream, and I've talked about it before, and I have a painting commissioned right here that I had done, where a wolf attacked me and started biting me. And I was holding this wolf. It woke me up at 3 a.m. I was up the rest of the morning, viscerally feeling like the wolf was still on me. And it was tearing my flesh, but it wasn't hurting me and I wasn't bleeding. It was a bizarre dream. And then I realized that I am the wolf. I am the wolf. I'm the wolf king is what it came from the dream, that I am a wolf and that all domesticated dogs originate from wolves. And some outside force breeded wolves and took them down to these poodle, golden retriever, non-aggressive dogs. But the origin of a canine is the wolf. And the more I have stood in my power, spoken, and been the wolf that I've always been, the more no one hurts me. It's so counterintuitive to how I thought prior. I thought prior, if I just exposed myself, surrendered more, like, hey, here, I'm not going to hurt you. But being the wolf is saying no. Sovereignty is saying no more. So I equate this to speaking, is that crank that dial up, be the light, and let the darkness flee as quickly as it can. Don't dim your light, hide, because you invite darkness in. Do you see that the more we're afraid, the more darkness comes close? The more we're bold and bright, the more darkness flees. And it all comes with speaking and using our voices. Therefore, my dear brother and sister, I implore you to speak, to make a vulnerable post, but not a vulnerable post in, weak, but make a vulnerable post and saying, I'm declaring that I shall live the life that I was here to live, and speak the words that I'm here to speak, and love those I'm here to love. And no one's opinion, and no one's judgment, and no one's shame shall impair my life to be the fullness of what it was intended to be from the very origin of my soul entering this earth. There, my dear brothers and sisters, is the message today. 3 of 10. I am Lucas Mack. Thank you so much for listening. I got an incredible episode coming on Friday on New Year's Day with a guest, Macy Robinson. I cannot wait to share. I'm going to have another episode where I share a stream of consciousness tomorrow. I'm going to do 10 in a row. So get ready for that. So Friday, there will be 2 podcasts. Thank you for listening. Share this podcast, follow, join the journey, and walk in love and light that is available for you, my dear brothers and sisters. And I love you. Can't wait to talk to you again. Thank you. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for listening. For support in your journey, go to my website, lucasmack.com.